Hello there! How are you? How are you doing? Let me know in the comments. I'm just having the loveliest day and I'm in a fabulous mood, and yeah, I'm just having a really good day. I'm really happy. It's just like a great day to be alive, it feels like. So in this week's Speedpaint, I'm doing something I haven't done in a while. There's actually another video on my channel that has me doing something similar, but it's quite old. I think it's closing on 3 years old, maybe it's 2 years old, I'm not exactly sure. It does have a voiceover, so if you want to go see it, like, it's still similar in format to what I do now, but it doesn't have an end card, it doesn't have the little social media pop-ups, it doesn't have a proper thumbnail, but yeah, it's still quite watchable if I do say so myself. So I'm doing pixel art, if you haven't noticed by the title and by how pixelated my sketch seems. So my approach to pixel art is to get everything I want to, to convey everything I want to convey information wise in as little space possible. So sometimes that means that I get to do like a type of 50 pixels by 50 pixels icon. Sometimes it means that I end up doing a 300 pixels by 300 pixels something or other. This time I always start my pixel canvas at 300 by 300 pixels, and this time I ended up at about 150, 60, something like that, by 180 pixels. It was quite small. I'm very proud of how small I got it, but it's not like terribly small. It's not as small that like on DeviantArt it has to be 150 by 150 or less, or it won't be animated in the preview. So like that's the goals of how small I would want a pixel to be, but it's still quite small, especially given that I haven't really done pixel art in about 6 months. The last bit of pixel art, I might put it overlaying here on the screen, I did around 6 months ago of my character Teres. I've drawn Teres before on my channel. I think there's a traditional drawing that I did of her, but yeah, I wanted to have a pixel drawing of each one of my original characters, and I'd created Teres since the last time that I pixeled, so I just pixel her in to join the family or something like that. I had a bit of trouble with Talia's feet because I don't know if you noticed, but I've been drawing a lot of feet lately, and yeah, drawing the feet, one of the main things of feet are the toes, and except for the big toe, all the toes are kind of small, but I didn't have enough pixels to detail that, so it kind of looks like a sock shape. But yeah, so the characters here, I don't think I said, is my character Talia, she's the one on the bottom, and my friend Saf's character Ryuusei. They're partnered together, they're star children. Talia and Ryuusei have both made appearances in my channel. I'll put links in the card to those videos. And yeah, I've just been really fond of them lately, and they felt like a really good thing to pixel. I've never done a pixel of Ryuusei before, and I have done a pixel of Talia before, but it was one of my, I think it was my second or third time doing a full body chibi in pixels, so it's a bit kind of, you'll see me pull it up later because I use it as a color reference. I think I'm pulling it up now actually, yeah, there it is, and then there's a drawing that Saf did for color reference for Ryuusei. So yeah, the pixel that I did for Talia, it was, I won't say it's bad, but it was very early on, and I feel like I could do a lot better now. Like, I'm still quite proud of it, but it's kind of huge for a pixel thing, and the colours are a bit weird, and the pose is a bit stiff, and I didn't do anything interesting with the animation. It's still a pretty good pixel, I'm still happy with it, but I feel like I could do a lot better, and I just wanted to just draw Ryuusei and Talia because I really like them as a pairing. I'm really fond of them. I was feeling really cheerful and colourful and starry, and I wanted to be a bit ambitious when I animated some like sparkles and star type things, but like you'll see me later, I work on it for ages, trying to work out timing and sparklings, and it's just, yeah, I wasn't all that happy. Here I'm going to Google to try to figure out a way to pixelize a star so that it's small enough. There were some good pixel stars, but they were too big, so I just stuck with the smallest one I found, and I guess it's alright. Like, you can kind of see it's a star. If you know what you say, you know it's a star, and that's what's important. Like, if you zoom out a bit, it looks more like a star. But Yeah, the important thing with pixel art, I think, is to remember the line art and use it to your advantage. Every pixel is important. I always say that when you do pixel art this small, every single pixel is something that you calculate. Right now, it might not seem like it outside of the line art, but when I start adding the shading colors, you'll see that I basically plan out every pixel. Right here, I'm doing the frames for the blinking, and in hindsight, I think I should have made them blink a bit slower, and yeah, maybe blink a bit less, like have a bit more pauses where their eyes are open. But I'm still really proud of myself and really happy with how this turned out in general. The blinking was fairly smooth, and like I decided to do the shading while they had their eyes closed so that I made sure that the skin kind of worked, and I really liked that I had a very good idea of where the eye sockets were, so how I would shape the eyes. Usually I make them close a bit too much from like downward, so it's as if like their face rises when they blink, which isn't really what happens most of the time. The majority of what closes when you close your eyes is your upper lid, not your lower. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way I did Talia's hair. My brother actually mentioned that he liked her hair as well. I also managed to pull off some subsurface scattering in the shading of the skin and some blush on the cheeks and on the knees and the toes and the tips of the fingers, because that's usually where you have a bit more red pigment in your skin. But yeah, the subsurface scattering, meaning that in the mid-tone between the darkest shade and the transition to the lighter, there's a jump in saturation, and I think it makes it really pop, it makes it feel really alive. And again, I'm a big fan of doing cool shadows, so like it's a bit of a purpley shade for the skin, a bit of a purpley, well, her hair's blue, so it's just more blue in the shadow, but for her bow, like the shadows are blue. For her shirt that is mostly grey, the shadows are blue. For her pants, trousers that are sort of blue, it's just like a more intense sort of blue. And then for Ryuusei, figuring out how to do a cooler shadow was a bit more challenging, because he has well, the green was easy, but the yellow you always have to just sort of desaturate it a lot for the shadow to look cool. And then for red, it's kind of violety. But well, you'll see when I get to it. I end up tweaking a lot of his colours, and yeah, I did something different that I don't usually do with this pixel drawing, that I don't usually do with other pixel drawings, where the colour of the line art is not the same. For example, usually I do the colour of the line art for the skin the same colour, and then the colour of the line art for the hair the same colour, but I didn't stick to that. I actually changed up a bit the colours in the line art. So for example, in the skin, in the bit of the leg that's a bit lower on the screen right now, the bit that's more to the light is a lighter line art colour, and the bit that's more to the shadow is a darker line art colour. So yeah, I thought that was sort of dynamic and really cool, and something I hadn't experimented before. Here I am starting to do Ryusei's hair. I've drawn Ryusei dozens of times by now, I'm fairly sure, and his hair still gives me so much trouble, because first of all, the shape of it is really interesting, really cool, but it's not as floofy as I would naturally draw it, but it's more to Saf style. And then my friend Kid also draws Ryusei's hair like just perfectly. And then the star of light sort of bleached hair that he has at the top of his head, yeah, that's something that I struggle with, but I think it came out really well. You saw me going with the select tool, where I had my first shadow colour that I picked out. I selected everywhere where that was around, and I changed it, because it felt like it didn't fit. It felt like it was just too much of a different colour. So then I changed it up, like I selected all of it pixel by pixel. Like I said, every single pixel when you do pixel art is planned and calculated. So I selected it pixel by pixel, and then I brought up the hue saturation scale thingy-mabobber, and I fixed it up to something that looked better. And then again with the skin, the subsurface scattering, and then a couple transition for most of the transition colors that I picked in the hair everywhere, as long as it's not like the original shade tone. What I usually do is I just put the opacity to anywhere between 30 and 80% and dab it onto the base color that I had, so that I have a bit of transitionary shade, and then I eyedropper it, then put the opacity back to 100 and paint with it. So that's a way that I like to blend with pixels. When you're working with pixels, the Photoshop blur tool actually works really well, but I think that blurring things ruins the pixel aesthetic. Well, it doesn't ruin it, but it kind of alters it. Like I did one pixel, and I think the one that I showed before that I did more recently, I think I did a bit of that there, but I don't know, it didn't feel like it would fit Ryuusei and Talia so much. I felt like it was just too soft, and I wanted to keep more of a harsh pixel aesthetic because it's been so long, and also these pixels are quite small, so I felt like it would just be more, everything would be more clear, because I have like 4 hands, 2 naked feet, 2 pairs of shoes, like a lot of folding clothes, a lot of movement, quite detailed hair, faces, like 2 full bodies in less than 200 pixels squared. Like 200 pixels just anyway. Yeah, so it's quite small, and so I think blurring it would kind of make me lose details a bit. Usually for doing the outside stroke of a pixel, I do something more like not manual. I go more like I just do select tools or do some like Photoshop wizardry, but I just felt like keeping things manual with this, so I did a stroke, and then I started, I think, drawing a little sparkles or starting the animation. Yeah, I started the animation. The first thing I animated was the blinking, so I just timed the blinking. The intervals that I use is 0.05 seconds. In Photoshop you just animate that, and that's how long each frame lasts. I usually go for that. Or if I'm doing like something really fast, I go 0.01, but rarely. It's either 0.05 or 0.1 seconds that I use for frames. And then here I am making them sort of float. I had a bit of trouble making them float because I wanted to try to make them float a bit staggered, so Ryuusei would start going up and then Talia would start going up, and then Ryuusei would go down, and then later Talia would go down, rather than just making them go up and down together. But yeah, the layers weren't really working with me because I'm still trying to figure out all the animation properties, because there's this check mark at the top of the layer box thing that happens when you have the animating tab open that says propagate to all layers, and I'm not sure if that makes it so anything you do in that one layer makes it so it stays across the whole animation, or if it makes it so that anything you do in that one layer is just for that frame, and then as soon as you go to another frame it's back to how it was before or how it was originally. Here I was trying, because there's this cool little sparkle animation that I know how to do, where you just do a little cross with, or like you can be filled or it can be empty in the middle, and then frame by frame you go pulling the things, the little spikes of the cross apart until they fade out completely. So it just it blinks, so it's like bink, 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 at least that's how I see it, or like a little dink. And it's a really cute, really simple animation, but I thought I tried it out, and then I got confused, I got overwhelmed with the propagate layer thing and how it would stay and how it would duplicate, and I did it on the wrong layer, and it was just confusing and frustrating, and I was like, alright, change my mind. And so I did one sort of set of sparkles. I had like dotted and the little cross things, and then I duplicated, flipped it horizontally, duplicated, flipped that vertically, and then duplicated the original and flipped that vertically. So I had effectively 4 different sorts of sparkle layouts. Only one of them didn't have any sparkles overlaying the characters, and so here I'm going through like aggressively trying to figure out how to make that work, but then yeah, it didn't really work out. I was trying to be too ambitious, I got confused and overwhelmed, and in the end it's just like, nope, not doing this. And so I just left the sparkles somewhat static and left my children floating together, and yeah, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll try to put the little pixel thing animated right here. I don't know if GIFs work in my movie editing software, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.